I'm just trying to make it all make sense.
The
More.
You
No.
Podcast.
Today I want to discuss anchoring, the keys to anchoring, and how to go about anchoring, which is all discussed in Tony Robbins' book Unlimited Power. So anchoring is used often by professional athletes as well as other high performers, and many of them aren't even aware they're doing it. And what they're doing is they're going inside themselves to their most resourceful and effective states, and then from there producing their most outstanding results. And they reach their most resourceful and effective states by triggering themselves to do so. And there's two basic steps that are used to create an anchor for yourself or others. First, you must put yourself or whoever you're anchoring into the specific state that's looking to be anchored. Then specific and unique stimulus must be consistently provided as the peak of the anchoring state is reached. So I now want to go through the 4 keys to anchoring that are discussed in Unlimited Power, and then from there go through the process of how to perform anchoring. So the first key to anchoring is that for it to be effective, when the stimulus is provided, the person must be in a fully associated congruent state where the whole body is involved. So the stimulus that's going to be tied to the anchor, it must be intense, and it must be felt all throughout your body and mind, using all your senses. Then from there, number 2 is that you must provide the stimulus at the peak of the experience. And this is because the peak is ultimately where the feeling is most intense. And that most intense feeling is ultimately what you want to anchor. Third is you should choose a unique stimulus. And on top of being unique, you should combine multiple senses and systems, such as auditory, visual, or kinesthetic. With it being unique as well as tied to all of these different sensations and responses, you're able to harness that intense state that you're looking to anchor. And then the 4th and final key is that for an anchor to work, you must replicate it exactly, which means as you're going through the process of evoking that intense stimulus, the anchor that you're using to tie to it must be easy to replicate, such as grabbing your wrist or saying a specific affirmation. And so I now want to go into the process of how you anchor. And if you keep these 4 rules in mind, your anchor will be effective. So there's 5 steps to the anchoring process. And I now want to go through the steps so you can understand how to do it. So the first step is to clarify the specific outcome you desire to use an anchor for, as well as the specific state that will have the greatest effect in supporting the achievement of that outcome for yourself and or others. After that's been determined, you now reach the second step, which is to calibrate the baseline experience. And you can use the keys previously discussed to assist with calibrating the experience. You then reach step 3, which is to elicit and shape the desired state through the use of verbal and nonverbal communication patterns. So this could be a verbal affirmation or something nonverbal. After that, you reach the 4th step, which is to use your sensory acuity to determine when you've reached the peak state, and then from there provide the stimulus or anchor. And once you've planted the anchor, you then reach the 5th step, which is to test it. And this is done by noticing a change in physiology that breaks the state, and then triggering the stimulus or anchor, and determining if the response is the desired state. Understanding what anchoring is, the keys to anchoring, and how to perform anchoring will allow you to bring on specific states of mind and emotion at specific times in the present moment. And doing so will no doubt assist in crafting a life of significance.
I'm just trying to make it all make sense.
The
More.
You
No.
Podcast.